ready to. We getting ready to. So ready to. Oh, so ready to.
I'ma go get it.
We getting ready to.
I'ma go get it.
We getting ready to.
I'ma go get it.
We getting ready to. So ready to. Oh, so ready to.
We ready for jump ball, center court now, standing tall now, hold the fort down. This is showtime, more than sports now, running crunch time, we rush like fourth down.
I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. We been on that paper chasing all that fashion. We been on that paper chasing what you ration.
Been in the grind now, we ready for prime time, ready for shine now, we ready to get mine. On the rise, all eyes up on us now, blast off spaceships till the touchdown.
Energy level on high, put that trouble on fire. Double it down, I'ma spit it around. Click, clack, boom, we the best in town. Energy level on high, put that trouble on fire. Double it down, I'ma spit it around. Click, clack, boom, we the best in town. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though.
We getting ready to. So ready to. Oh, so ready to.
So ready to blow. So ready to blow. What's going on? I got my Words, Beats, and Life Inc. Shout out to Words, Beats, and Life out here in Washington, D.C. My man Mozzie Mutafa putting it down. Yo, if you don't know about Words, Beats, and Life, look them up. They're doing big things out here. Shout out to DJ RBI. I see you on the scratches with Cool G Rap and Big Daddy Kane. I see you. I gotta get over to your show, man. We gotta make that happen. Welcome. If you're here, that means you're not a tennis fan because you should be watching Serena right now. So she's in the second set. Yeah, check it out. Doubles didn't go so great yesterday with her and Venus, but she won that match the day before. And I'm not a huge tennis person, but Serena's on for the victory lap. You got to be watching. So that's what I'm saying. Check out Introverse with Pro and Bernard Sunday at 6:30. Shout out to my man Bernard. We were talking about a big gig he has in the works for down in Charlottesville, Virginia. Some of you know me, Charlotte, Virginia, for the Tiki Torches. Others may know you for UVA, and that's where he went, where my wife went, where my brother-in-law went. And speaking of my wife and brother-in-law, there's an interesting thing there. Brother-in-law got a Havapu. Brought it over to our house at Christmas time. Our son fell in love, and we said we were either going to get a Havapu or a Kavapu. And today was the day. Tavia has arrived. So we have a new member of the family. Henry has a sister. She is here. And, well, she's not here. She's downstairs. But she's fitting right in. She's adorable. She is adorable. I got to give it to her. Maybe I'll show you a picture later. And that's what we up to. I was very sick yesterday. I had like a stomach bug or I think it was food poisoning. That's what my wife thinks as well. I'm not going to give you the details, but it was not a pretty yesterday. So just say that. It was a lot of white rice, bananas, bread, crackers, little Gatorade and water and ginger ale, and I'm back in the saddle. So yeah. So anyways, and I appreciate your concern. So that's what's going on. Shout out to everybody checking us on Facebook. I appreciate you. We're going to get into a couple of things tonight. And one of them we're going to get into is, when I play music, I don't know if a lot of you have heard me say it before. When we play music, Facebook's still a little behind the curve. It's one of these things we're going to look back in like 5 years and be like, seriously, was Facebook really blocking us out when we were playing like music? on here. It's like, come on, get over it. What are you doing, right? When I play my own music, it'll block us down. But we're gonna play. I was talking to Quo earlier tonight. We gotta play some Smile. Smile is just that joint. It's not out yet, but I'm gonna play it for you because it's not a song out there that the system knows is out there. It's not on all platforms yet. So we're gonna put that out. And this week, we're gonna start working Dive In It to radio. Dive In It off the ProQuo album. Can't wait for that, to hit up radio with that. Now that college is back in full swing. We also got a song out there on the charts right now by the name of Back in the Days. That's my man Fee, featuring me and Ruby, as you guys have probably heard. I'm not sure what's going on the comments. Jonah, did I just call you a cry? I missed it. I fight Facebook every day concerning my music. Yeah, yeah. I missed the joke, man. I probably should have been paying more attention, but I didn't catch it. But yeah, we're gonna play Smile right now. And we were talking about we have a handful of I got you. I missed the joke though. We got a handful of tracks that we feel are epic, just truly epic. If you have not listened to the ProQuo album Instant Brotherhood, I don't know what to tell you. It's classic. It's classic. Listen to it from start to finish. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous album. I'm very biased, but it's very ridiculous. It's the album that I definitely wanted to make and the album that Quo wanted to make. And we were talking today how the unreleased stuff that we have, there's some epic tracks, and there's some epic tracks on there that we're still yet to work the radio. So Dive In It is just an unbelievably all-around quality song. That's one that's working the radio. We feel is the right time for it. So that's going to radio, like I said, starting later this week. And by the time that picks up, we'll probably be losing a little bit of the steam from the XCal record, which is great because we got more XCal stuff in store and Fee's doing big things. We're all trying to do big things. But Smile is like the song that needs to be out there. And Apologize off our album too. Another surprise kind of song, I think, that easy to sleep on. Don't want to run that because I don't want to shut down our audio. And Grandma Stories is just crazy. We're still trying to think how to get that out and what to do for a video for it. And just the unreleased joints that we have. We were even talking about one that we used to use as part of the theme here. Chandeliers is another one, another favorite of Quo's. So without any ado, or further ado, I guess is what they say, I'm going to give you Smile. I think I'm going to give you Smile. Let me try it one more time. Let me make sure that I did that right. Yep. Share system audio. See, I didn't have the audio shared. You wouldn't have been happy. We can get right into it. And I'm going to be on the screen with you listening. So you can get it's kind of like the reaction video. You can get my reaction. Here we go. Smile. ProQuo.
Just to see my daughter smile. Disciples of the ancestors. Yeah, I base my whole life around this. We on that grown man music. And for real though, ain't no price around this. Real talk. Let me see that high fist though. Yeah. Cruise. Look. To shine eternal in the journal is the bigger goal. Retire early possibilities, we grinding so you never know. Thoughts of having moms go to Florida anytime it's snow. Encapsulated in these vibrations. Life's domination. Not saying that I'm better than it's all patience. Understand you go in that world. Yourself is lacing. Jump in with jump balls. Real good with calculation. Pumping my whole eternal, turning out motivation. Team hardly need mediation. It's on the sleeve, there's no exaggeration. I don't be black and blue in the conversation. I thrive in these areas of gray. The smoke clears every day. Check my operation. My time's filled out of filth, pulling out the gravitation. How it feel, being off your feet, high in levitation. I'm peeling fruit, sipping juice. Got my Eve after consummation. That's my rib forever by my chest, the affirmation. Had my kids set me free, I believe that's the alteration. But where your faith at? Obsessing over complications. I'm pulling action out of whirlwinds, breathing over contemplations. And it just so happens me rapping is all this part-time beast mode, that full-time free throw. Just to see my daughter smile, riding through the vows. My life around this, ain't no price around this. We anoint the righteous, get out the vice grips. Just to see my queen smile, riding through the vows. Base my life around this, ain't no price around this. We anoint the righteous, let me see the high fist. Just to see the band smile, riding through the vows. Base my life around this, ain't no price around this.
Hip-hop is giving me confidence, express myself publicly. I've done 1,000 shows, done, run my own companies, yeah. A lovely wife in my life, how she accompanied me through music like her vocals on tracks when they accompany. Be working hard for my queen, grind of a bumblebee. But now I teach the world through my words and still it humbles me. Be hugging my son once he wakes, his love comforts me. It's making it hard to hate on another, remaining ugly, yeah. To be the best I can be, evolving culturally, involved in my community, living life more productively. See, ProQuo got a flow that's so brotherly, music so motivational, pull you through your recovery, viewing documentary, studying more of publishing, reading whatever's written, investigating, discovering. Be learning them lessons through mix and keep uncovering methods and hidden gems, effective to lessen suffering. To see my son smile, riding through the vows, base my life around this, ain't no price around this. We anoint the righteous, get you out the vice grips, just to see my queen smile. Riding through the vows, base my life around this, ain't no price around this. We anoint the righteous, let me see the high fist, just to see your fam smile. Riding through the vows, base my life around this, ain't no price around this.
Yeah, yeah. And there it is. We need more music like this. Yeah, yo. And the music's out there. It's not that we need more music like this because it's not there. I'm like, we need more of this to hit the forefront. It's this kind of music that we want to see promoted to radio. It's this kind of music that we want to see in video and television and video games and so forth. And shout out to you, Jonah. Appreciate the support. We need more Jonah on the show as well. Yeah, so that was our Smile. And that's the kind of music we represent. You know, Quo was saying to me today, he was like, you know what's so dope about the album? You can play on any joint and it's kid appropriate. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like what I was talking about last week with the ridiculous just stuff that you see on Disney. It's just like, why? You know what I mean? It's like you're not confident in your tough guy enough that you can't make the movie without dropping a few curse bombs. It's like, you know, come on, you know. But anyways, the joint's called Smile, and we talking about just wanting to see our kids smile, just, you know, be there for the fam and do what we can. We ain't perfect, but that's what we're trying to aspire to. So we make the music that we want to aspire to. Hopefully, it inspires others. And we aspire to be the people that we espouse to be on the tracks. It's kind of how we put it. We don't always succeed, but we try to do the best we can. And so that's the deal. That's the deal. I got my mic a little away from me. I hope you can hear me all right. And what I wanted to talk about tonight, it's sort of in the same vein as making the kind of music that you want to make, right? When you make music that is short-lived, music that is maybe it's a super big hit even, right? It becomes a super big hit. But the artist can't maintain. What is that about? And why do we see this so often in hip hop, right? Why do we so often see in hip hop, more so than most any other genre? We see, you know, in pop you see it too, but in hip hop, hip hop, it pretty much is pop, right? We don't want it to be, but it is, right? How is it that superstar artists one day and then you never hear about them again, or they're broke? Right? They go broke in hip hop. And I did a segment not too long ago talking about all the people who are super rich in hip hop. And I thought it was only fair and justified to do the other side of the coin. Now I got to give a disclaimer. A lot of times people will start bashing all the broke rappers in hip hop. And it almost feels like they're bashing the rappers. And I don't mean this to bash any of the rappers. I mean it more to talk about the system that there is. And like, why is it that we can't support our own in hip hop? Why is it that maybe they feel compelled to chase what's really hot one day, and then if that falls out of glory, then they really can't sustain because they were so marked by the times of that kind of song and what they were about, maybe that they weren't able to maybe switch it up enough, or they stayed so tried and true to that formula that when the formula passed with the fickle hip hop crowd, they were kind of left by the wayside for another artist to come in and do it cheaper, and maybe less effectively, but, you know, with a cuter smile, a better pair of jeans or something, or what have you, right? And we see this happen a lot in hip hop. And then it's like, you know, you hope to see them on a hip hop old school tour or something like that. You're like, whatever happened to X, Y, and Z? And a lot of times you check them out and they are doing something. They are sustaining, and they use their fame to propel them into some other area of the music industry or the entertainment industry in general. And so you feel really good for those artists. But let's talk about some of the others who did not do so well. So I'm going to pull up from the same article, basically about rappers who went broke. So this is The bankrupt are, well, let's do it this way. I got a couple here. I think little Kim's in here, and let's get right into it. So rappers who lost all their money. Um, so I don't want to read it to you, but instead want to talk about what happened. And now take it with a grain of salt, because a lot of these people are not poor, right? They just at one time or another mismanaged their money. Maybe they've made a rebound, maybe they haven't. But for the level that they were at, or at least the level that they were portraying to be at, it's hard to fathom that they could have went as broke as they did. And we see this with athletes a lot too. So let's talk about it. 50 Cent, right? Cash seemed to be endless. 2015, sold 30 million albums, 60 million to 100 million on his investments in vitamin water. I mean, that's just unreal, right? At one point, people were talking about it was closer to $1 billion, but that wasn't true. Reebok, Right Guard, successful record label, clothing company, boom, boom, boom. His net worth at $500 million in 2010. So he files for bankruptcy in 2015. It was making $185,000 a month, but $72,000 went to his 18-bedroom house. Man, and almost everything else went to other expenses. While he admitted he had recently bought a Rolls Royce, he said most of the cars, jewelry, and jets he showed off on social media were actually borrowed or rented. And that's something to speak on. So we say this a lot to younger artists, and they don't always believe it because it seems so hard to believe. But a lot of the stuff is borrowed, rented, not theirs. You see rappers trading jewelry all the time. And then his legal stuff, right? The Rick Ross feud, all this kind of stuff, right? So damages, you had to pay $7 million in damages. That was crazy, just all because he was being silly, right? 17 million in total for the G Unit headphone design from another company, right? And the judge made him pay 17 million. So basically, like trademark, copyright infringement, those kind of things. 50 Cent immediately filed for bankruptcy, saying these judgments plus other debts exceeded his mere 25 million net worth. But wait a minute, how do we go from 25 million when you were at $500 million before? Like, that's not all follow the bouncing ball, right? That's a big number that's kind of disappeared here that we haven't really spoken to, unless there's a whole heck of a lot of months, because I'm no mathematician. But 185,000 a month, man, you can go about 6 months before you're close to $1 million, right? So you can go a half a year on just $1 million. We're talking 500 million in net worth. Now I realize some of that was probably tied up in properties and so forth, but it's a little bit misleading if you can go from $500 million in 5 years, you're down to 25 million. The math clearly doesn't add up, right? So unless you're doing some other crazy stuff, you can throw 17 million and 7 million around like spending change if you really had 500 million, right? So there's a lot more not being said there. And how truthful that $500 million is, well, we're not really sure, right? So anyways, he's made somewhat of a rebound, promising to pay 23 million to his creditors over 5 years. Not sure what's happened exactly, but he never seems to not be shining. So I'm not sure exactly what his current state of finances are at this moment, but it's always interesting. All right. We know about Hammer. I'm not really going to get into Hammer, but Hammer was crazy and the whole entourage cost him, and he was spending like a nut, right? Of course, we got Little Kim. I had to look back up to make sure that's her. It looks so different. You know what I mean? I'm like, wait a minute, is that Little Kim? Yeah. Anyways, CNBC reports her bank first stated foreclosure proceedings in 2010 and 2015. 2017, a judge ruled she had a chance. Foreclosed a year later. 650 behind on her house. Owed the IRS more than $1 million in back taxes. And we'll notice this IRS theme is constant. 186,000 behind on legal bills. 4 million in the hole overall. Apparently, her income plummeted in just 1 year from 823,000 to 398,000, and then to about 18,000 a month. 2,000 for staff, 2,000 for a wardrobe, and 10,000 for travel. Did you really need 2,000 for your wardrobe? Like, did you really? Could you not wear the same thing twice? I don't know. It's just me, And again, it's when you pigeonhole yourself into a certain look and niche, it becomes a very expensive lifestyle to maintain, right? If it's got to be balling, if balling's your look and you got to be balling forever, you better be balling for real, for real. You better hit the lottery like some Diddy or, Nas or, and Nas is on the list too. Nas is rebounding to hit the lottery too, so to speak. Kanye, rags to riches, riches to rags, all that kind of stuff. DMX, rest in peace, DMX. I don't even want to talk about DMX. It just hurts my soul so much. All right, so I'm gonna skip DMX. Just gonna skip DMX. Lisa Lopes, man, respect to the dead. We gotta skip Lisa Lopes too. This was messy. They were done dirty. They never really had the money that they were supposed to, and it was just a tough thing. All right, let's check on Bow Wow. You don't hear too much about this, right? Since he was 13, releasing music, blah blah blah. Bow Wow informed the court he made just $4,000 a month. Now let's do the math. Times 12. That's $48,000 a year, and had $1,500 in his bank account when he's up for child custody. Now, of course, you want to appear as lowly as possible at those times, but you know, got to take that somewhere close. He also merely leased a relatively modest car. That might be because 4 years earlier he leased a Ferrari and within months was behind on payments. It's just like the image and trying to keep up is just so ridiculous, right? Unless you get some constant source of money that's going to keep coming, because you're not always going to be little cute Bow Wow forever, right? You got to grow with that, or something's got to change. Wyclef, a lot of people haven't heard about this kind of stuff. Wyclef tax liens, couldn't come up with the $2 million, owed IRS $2.9 million. Was some shady stuff with some of his charities, paying himself $100,000, a la the Donald at a charity concert. Just all kinds of bad stuff going on there. Young Buck, I mean, you feel bad for Young Buck. You think how low down on the totem pole he is. When you look at 50, and it's like, of course, the minions under 50 aren't going to be able to do probably as well either when everybody's taking a bite of your pay. Not to say anything about talent, just to say like how far down the food chain you are, and again, this just gets into, agents raiding his home, right? Back taxes. It's just tough to even read. Exhibit, yeah. Remember Pimp My Ride? They pimped him, right? 2004 to 2007, when that show canceled, took him to town because he was never really caking like that as an artist. He was doing all right, but so the year after he lost his lucrative TV gig, he made $67,000. While he was doing it, like $500,000, right? So the lifestyle we're seeing here is what's doing people in, right? The lifestyle. And Nas certainly has been a victim of that, right? Couldn't pay his child support. So Essence says while settling on child support amount, Nas will contribute. The rapper claimed he owed his manager $700,000 and the IRS millions, but he was still required to pay over $50,000 a month. He might not have had the money, though, because they were divorced. Khalees said Nas wasn't fulfilling his obligations. The judge ruled he owed her $300,000 in back child support. Nas said paying the amount would bankrupt him. Lawyers argued he made substantially less than the $150,000 Khalees claimed Nas pulled down a month. He had to set up a payment plan to afford the bill. I mean, these are super ballers, right? And can't pay the child support. Luckily, some big investments paid off for Nas, and he's got back out there, done some shows, got some music out there, right, doing his thing. Fat Joe, also in the news for some controversy right now, talking about sort of the history of hip hop and who's behind it. Started out with him talking about the prominent place of Latinos in hip hop, which is definitely true, and some he said, she said stuff about him saying maybe black people didn't invent hip hop or something like that. I didn't hear the full quote or whatever, or if it was taken out of context. But now we know Fat Joe was never really caking like that. Big Pun was never really caking like that, right? And it's just criminal when you really see how little people are making, and then the lifestyle that people are trying to have to keep up with, right? So is it the industry forcing MCs to keep up with this as the recipe to success? Look at T-Pain. Think about how many hits, right? Same thing. Just crazy. Lost all of it. Talking 40 million by 2019, lost all of it, right? Mace, we know the stories of Mace. Birdman, right? You just think like iconic people who you're like, yo, rappers are rich, rappers are rich. Luther Campbell, another one, like a boss. Speaking of the boss, the Brat, Corrupt, Beanie Siegel, we know about this Beanie Siegel stories. Nelly, just crazy, right? Ryan Leslie, producing, Ja Rule, we've heard about that. Method Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like taxation again, right? Method Man suffered a slew of financial problems. In 2009, his brand new Lincoln Navigator was repossessed from his home by the New York Department of State of Taxation to help pay down a $52,000 outstanding back taxes. I mean, he said he could have easily written him a check. He waited until they knocked on his door. I mean, I understand that. I mean, that happens, right? Common, similar. This is a bit older. I think it was around like 2010 or something. Yeah, 2012. Stopped making mortgage payments on a Chicago condo. I mean, he's done well since, right? And this is a new article. It's just updated, but they're just talking about the tragedies people have had. And we talked about this, the richest rappers in the world, and went through that list as well. So I guess the question kind of becomes, and one of my streams is having issues. The question kind of becomes for me, and hopefully for people reading that, is this something systemic? Is it, in other words, is it the rapper's fault that this is happening, or is it like the industry thing? So I'm really interested in what people think about this. Do you think it's the industry making an artist feel like they have to keep up with this lifestyle? Like, is it an A&R thing? Is it the label? Is it your management saying, yo, you got to look super fly? Now, I don't know about you. I can look pretty fly at Marshalls. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? But maybe not pretty fly, like averagely fly, right? Or getting free teas from Words, Beats, and Life, right? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, is it really? But I suppose if that's your thing, if your thing is that you're super, super successful and making super, super money, you kind of got to do it all the time. So the question is it the thing, you know, is it the thing of the industry, or is it the thing that the artist puts on themselves? This is good. Best podcast scene. Appreciate it. If you can't manage money, then you give it a bunch of money. You still can't manage money. Yeah. I mean, you hear that so often, right? It's like the money will only sort of enhance where you were already at, right? It just like, it won't change you. It'll just enhance who you already are. And yeah, if you don't have money management skills, trying to figure out a way to come and manage the money is definitely going to be tricky, Jonah. So I agree with you, and I appreciate the shout out of support. The thing is, right, is that, so is there an obligation by the industry to do what recently the NBA has started to do? Pro baseball is trying to do. A lot of the sports companies are trying to do it too, right? They're like, let's help our younger athletes who we know we're giving boatloads of money up front, and they're only going to blow it if they have no money management skills. If you've been broke your whole life and you suddenly get the bag, what are you going to do? You're going to spend the bag, right? It's not a rocket science. Like, most people aren't going to go, oh, you know what I need to do? I just got $1 million today. I need to take $800,000 and put it in a money mutual. You know what I'm saying? I'll get some good long-term interest in return and just work with this 200,000, even though in your head, your whole entire life, you're like, got to buy mom's a crib, got to buy the car, got to get the, you know, whatever it is you got to get. You know what I'm saying? And so not that many people are going to have that kind of discipline. But what would you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine you're broke. You get $1 million tomorrow. Just $1 million. Right? Just $1 million. What are you going to do? Have you thought of it? Would you know what to do to receive the gifts that may be bestowed upon you? Right? Unto you. Right? What would you do with such gifts? Do you have it planned out? And have you ever thought about it and said, you know, let's say I got 10 million. What would be really smart to do so that I could sustain myself for the rest of my life? $10 million, you can certainly sustain yourself and your children for the rest of your life. You know, if you make $50,000 a year, you can do that for 20 years and you're a millionaire, right? You make $100,000 a year, you're a millionaire in 10 years. Now think about how reasonably well people live that make $100,000 a year. Okay. Think about making $100,000 a year, and is your life that bad? Now, you might have 5 kids, you might have a lot of other payments, things you have to pay, school loans, whatever. And so you might hear people say $100,000 a year isn't that much, right? Take it from someone who's made $36,000. I think my first year out of college, right? 60, 80, over 100, right? $100,000, if you're managing your money smartly and you do not have a lot of dependents and you do not have a lot of college loans, is a very good amount of money. You can definitely live on that pretty much anywhere in the world except like New York, LA. Boston's pretty difficult. Washington, D.C. can be pretty difficult, right? If you don't got 2 earners making that kind of money, you're trying to live like a reasonably decent lifestyle, like a decent, I don't just mean paying the bills, like a decent lifestyle, it's going to be tough. You're going to probably need to make double that. So let's use that formula. Let's say you're making $200,000 a year, which, by the way, 90% of the people that you know aren't, right? 90% of the people you know are not making $200,000 a year. Let's even say as a couple, right? That percentage can go down a little bit as a couple, but let's say you're a couple making $200,000 a year, you're living pretty well, right? Think about that. 5 years, you're making $1 million. Now, all of a sudden, imagine you're just given $1 million, or you're given 10 million. To go back to my further point with 10 million, you make $200,000, 5 years, that's $1 million. You're talking a 10-year plan of making $200,000 a year, but now you get that bag at once. So how well do you think you'd be living with $200,000? For 10 years, you're living pretty well for that amount of time. You're living fly is how you're living. You're living fly for that amount of time. So That's just to get you, 5 years you got $1 million, 10 years you got $2 million. That's 10 years to get 2 million, right? You can do that for times 5, right? So to get you up to 10 million. So I'm saying is 10 million is going to sustain with the right investments, a house, whatever, the right bonds, whatever you need to do. You're going to be able to sustain yourself and your kids. Most people with $10 million, maybe even your grandkids. We'll see what Fly thinks. What up, Fly?
Absolutely.
You can live off
Couldn't
that?
agree with that more, man.
You can live off
Easy.
that? All right.
Easily.
I hope.
Easily.
I hope so.
Easy.
I hope.
Anybody,
That's what I'm talking about.
anybody could do it if they wanted to, depending on the lifestyle they live. But you know how superficial we are in today's society.
I'm telling you, I say it like this. Like, I've gotten to where I generally am pretty comfortable in life, right? And being pretty comfortable in life, though, there's certain things I don't do, right? There's still certain things
Right.
that, like, I say to youngins all the time, the first thing they say, right? Come and you do a show. I'm sure you've experienced this, right? First thing the youngins ask you, are you rich? Are you famous? That's what they want to know. Are you rich? Are you famous? Right? That's what they want to know. And I'll be like, after we have the discussion, I'm like, I can buy any pair of sneakers I want on any given day at the mall, and it doesn't feel like I even had to think about it. And when you're saying that to young kids, that's like, ooh, like I don't have to save to buy my sneakers anymore. Like I remember when I was a kid, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, what would I need to do to have Jordans, right? What would I need to do to have these, right? You're
Right.
planning out your budget. You're like, oh, I could get these in like 3 weeks. If I like,
Right.
I can go to the mall on any given day. I could probably buy 3 pairs of Jordans and not bad enough.
Whatever you want.
Right.
And
it's not even bad enough.
That's comfort about.
What do you say?
And that's the comfort, man. That's what it's all
Yeah.
about, man.
And we're not talking baller level. We're just talking being able to buy a few pairs of sneakers, right? It's not like we're talking about buying a few cars, right? And the difference is that people are going out a lot of times and buying a few cars, right? And it's like the difference between a few pairs of sneakers, which if you really think about your young kid life, if I was to tell you, you can go to the mall any day you want and go buy 3 pairs of Jordans and you won't even flinch. You'd be like, wow, I did pretty well in life. So where does it go from I have to be able to buy 3 pairs of Jordans to 3 like luxury cars that you don't see anybody driving even one of them? Like you can go all day without seeing one of those cars, right? And you got to have
Easily.
3. And it's like, what's forcing our young people to think this is the lifestyle, the masquerade they got to keep up? That's the question. I mean, is it us or is it them? Is it the outside or is it us from the inside?
It's the outside influences, man, because children are imitators of what they see. And, we still deal with peer pressure. And so, I mean, the adult version of that is keeping up with the Joneses, right? Throughout your lifespan. And so it's just about coming to a place like where we pretty much think exactly like on a lot of these things when it comes to just having come be famous or not wanting to be. I don't even want to be rich to the point where like, well, I got to have security because I'm so rich. I don't even have a desire. Be honest with you, my biggest reason for even wanting those kind of resources outside of that, for my own personal self, like you said, man, I just need time, not even with the money. So go and buy what you want, when you want, and you don't have to be a billionaire to do that. But like you said,
no, not at all.
Through external factors, children's perception changes. I don't know at what point that happens.
I think it might happen when you know you have skills like these. It may just kick in. It may just kick in.
Drop it. I'm gonna listen to it. Let it go crazy.
Man, I was just having fun. Forever live Yahweh. Look, they got their priorities backwards. Selling soul for a goal, all that luxury taxing. Bragging on your team balling. Why you salary capping? I had to quit buying khakis. Can't afford to be slacking. You know my past is the places. Got lost in the public. God help me carry on like I'm boarding with luggage. Come from the borders of nothing. I done sold from the rubbish. Receiving blessings when I touch down. I scored on the courage. All of my next flows are electro to the X flow. Netflix shows are an echo of how we let go of that mo where you made whole. Cause we let whole. Monitor our hope like a stethoscope in the cosmos. Fly.
Right?
Hey, yo, If you got a crazy verse for this,
That's
you
the
drop
truth,
it.
bro.
I'ma listen to it.
Boy, I
Duet it.
don't.
Go
I
crazy.
don't.
That's the truth, bro. That's the
I
truth,
fly
bro.
said everything I need to do. Flies conversation prompting our conversation right here. If you dig what I'm saying. So
Exactly.
it's the topic matter of that verse, and it's do we need the excess, or is the excess being some? And I think when we're choosing an image, right? Because we do choose an image, right? A lot of times you can say the image chooses us or whatever, but I think you start to say this is where I could fit in if I'm doing this as a venture, right? And
Right.
it is a venture if you're doing it seriously. It's like when we're thinking about that, are we thinking about something that's going to set us up for failure? And it's like it's a sustainability problem. Is it sustainable to be blinging it all set at all time? And to my thing is like no, like it's certainly not. But kind of to your point, it's like I'm striving for comfortable so that I can go to the mall and buy them 3 pairs of Jordans at any given time and not flinch. And if I happen to get higher than that, that's wonderful. But I've also thought about what I would do in those situations. Like, I'm not going to blow it. Like, I was
Right.
recently, I was talking like off the air with some people about a recent, there's been some positive things that have happened, right? Even though it's been COVID, there's been some positive things coming up, and there's been money made and money not made and all that kind of stuff, right? And so I recently did pretty well on a couple things, and I was talking about just the extra little bit of money, right? Like already having a whole plan for it. Like, and the thing is, because I'm seeing it before it comes, and I'd say, oh, you know what I would do, and just use 10 grand. You know what I would do with 10 grand, and that's the thing I'm asking. Do you have I know what I would do with an extra 10 grand? Because when
Right.
it's in your head and you're thinking it's extra, you think I will go
It's
spend
it's
extra money.
disposable. Exactly.
Right, right. But
That's
if you're
exactly how we
thinking
think.
about, hey, it might actually be coming to me, then it stops being extra. It starts to be just part of your mind. And this is what kills me when I watch people on game shows, right? They win $80,000, and then you have a chance now to go for 250, and it's like, bro, I'm keeping the 80,000 like every time. Like, I'm good with it. You just gave me 80 grand, and you're giving me a chance to lose it all in 5 seconds, and I can't do it. I'll never win $1 million on a game show, but I'll win 80. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, actually, it did, coming from someone who did win money on a game show. But
Right.
I'll win 80, or I'll win a trip to Turks and Caicos and win over 10 grand. You know what I'm saying? But granted, we were trying to win more. Don't get me wrong. But if there's an option to gamble it away, nah, you just gave me 80 grand, bro. I don't need to go. I don't need 250,000. So this excess, this image of excess, which is the championship trophy for all of us, right? It's like, yo, we look like we're winners if we win more than we need. And I'm like, there's something beautiful about getting what you need and just a little bit more, right? Get what you need and a little bit more, and life is really good. But when you start getting way more than what you possibly need and you don't have a plan, that becomes really dangerous. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
either
walk us through your thought process, because just for who may have the misconception that there's not a need for ambition more says, but in that security blanket that you're talking about with the money, at some point in that game show you start with zero. So it took an amount of, but it sounds like you're speaking more from a calculated risk perspective, right?
oh
So
yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
go from 0 to 80. How do you, when you get that 5 or 10, why not stop there? But to continue, the person develop that border in their mind that says, hey, you know what this is, like Ian is saying, when I get to this point,
Yeah.
this is what I'm going to do, and much more.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think the switch up, the okey doke, if you will, is where we go. I'm playing with house money, and it's like, you're not playing with house money anymore. The money was given to you. The balance statement has been told. It's not like you get a pile of chips and you don't know how much they're worth. Right on that game show, when it says you have $85,000 and you can leave now, or you can spin for a chance to win it all, but you might lose it all, right? Even sometimes they don't even say lose it all. Depends what the game show is. They'll say you got a chance to win $1 million. You have 85,000. Maybe you don't have 80. Maybe you have 120. You get a chance to go for $1 million, but if you get it wrong, you'll go down to 40,000. And I'm like, okay, in 5 seconds, I can go from $120,000 to $40,000. So I've lost 2/3 of my money. That granted, I understand the analogy of house money, right? I didn't have it when I came in, but you do now.
Right.
Right? And we have to get that through our head. You have it now. And what we do is we go, yo, this is a once in a lifetime chance. You're right. You might have bills that require you to make $1 million. And you're like, yo, this 80 ain't gonna do nothing. I'm not talking to you. Because that means you have a
Right.
plan, right? If you were like, I cannot do anything with this money and I have to have that, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person who's like, yo, that 80 grand would change your life. 80 grand would change your life, but you handed it away for a chance to have something that would just put sugar and cream on top of your day. Like when you see the people come up with their sob story, and they're like, yo, I just need like $25,000 to get blah, blah, blah. Or they say basically the value of something. We've been trying to pay off the end of this whole house loan and we're trying to move out and get a bigger house or whatever. Okay. You don't need $1 million to pay off the end of the house loan and get a big, the 80 grand probably would work pretty well, right? It's like 100 grand would say, you see it all the time. There's someone that'll have $200,000 and they'll go for $1 million. And I'm like, bro, you really have, hi bud, you really have 200,000, you know? Hi son.
G's.
How you doing? Hold on.
Henry, what's up, man?
He can't hear you though because of the headphones. But Fly said, "What's going on, Henry? We have a new member of the family, Fly. We have Tavia, new puppy we got today. So Henry is up a little late. Let me see if I can show you a picture. It's a cute puppy. Is what it is. Let's see. Let's see if any of these have kicked into my Google Drive. I'm sure they have. Yes, it is this kind of puppy. Let's see. I will put her on. Hold on a sec. We got to share. You still there, right, Fly? I just lost your picture.
Yeah, I'm still here, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, something's going on.
It's this kind of puppy. So she is a.
She's beautiful.
She's
Tavia.
asleep. Yeah, Tavia, yeah. Right, well, she was asleep in these pictures. She is a what's called a cavapoo, and that's Henry with the cavapoo. She is cavapoos are a Cavalier Spaniel mixed with a mini poodle.
Or it can be a cavapoo mixed with a poodle.
Oh, that was a good shot of her right there.
It has to be at least a cavapoo or a cavalier.
Yeah, has to be at least a cavapoo. Yeah, so she's only like 4 pounds. So I know she looks bigger in the pictures, and she's pretty fluffy, but she's 4 pounds.
I know he's excited, man. It's hard to sleep, man.
Oh yeah.
Man, Henry getting tall, bro. Jeez.
I know, I'm trying to keep him off. Yeah, trying to keep him off the thing, but there you get the idea. So yeah. So that is Tavia.
She's downstairs with mommy.
She is downstairs with mommy. So new member of the fam. Yes, we're getting off very soon, Henry. I'm getting off very soon. I'm being summoned.
My kids has been begging for this. I can't do it, bro.
What time?
Yeah, you might have to. I'll be off very, very soon, Henry. I'm just reading some of these comments here. I forgot we have a new member of the family, Fly, so I'm gonna have to bounce very shortly. But yeah, I do think that just the recognition that like once you've been given the gift, it is your gift, right? And
it's your gift, man.
And if you haven't thought about the number that you need before you go on the show, then it's the same as someone not thinking about. And we talk about manifesting and somewhat. And there's a little bit maybe overblown to that, but you should be visioning yourself like coming into prosperity and what you might do with that, right? Or even just not even prosperity, just something that would get you to pay the bills or get you to start from zero again. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Jonah. Shout out to y'all too. But yeah, it's like, can we get by with getting by, you know, and who are we keeping up the Joneses with? And I'll say this little nugget too, to the sneakers, most people aren't looking at your sneakers. You are, and you're buying sneakers. You know, we talked about it before. I'm buying sneakers to impress you. You know what I'm saying? It's like who are you really impressing with the sneakers? You know, it's like no one's noticing your sneakers at the end of the day. It's like yeah, it's different if you're doing a show and you're performing. I understand. Then probably a lot of people are. But if you're just going into a house party, something, no one's like, yo, look at Fly, I got the new Crispies. It's like we think they do, but for the most
it's dark. And it's dark.
Right.
Nobody's really paying. And I collect sneakers,
Right.
man, and I know for a fact, like yourself, nobody's really paying attention to your shoes, bro. Like
Right.
nobody's
What's that,
paying
bud?
attention to you.
Why does your body feel weird? Oh, your body feels like fur. Maybe you're turning into a puppy. You could be, possibly. No, and I hear you, and it's like when you're at a point where you can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a little different than when you're trying to get to a point when you can, and you're hampering that by doing it before you have it. You know, it's like the bill that they shall come does not always work well. You know, but
it's definitely not worth it in that scenario at all.
Yeah,
ever.
You know what's funny with me?
And
I'll buy
that
a new
having
pair
the
of shoes and they
ability to
stay in
do
the
it.
closet. I'll buy a new pair of shoes and they stay in the closet. I'll be like, I'll break them next week. I'll wear them the next week. Yeah. Now they're like up in the closet, taking up space. It's like, did I really need those? Not really. Yeah.
Not really. That's the man. And so even with that, like I mentioned that perspective too, because there's also parameters to that portion of it too. When you still also have to know, like you said, have a goal to or the ability to be able to say, I'm only going to buy so many of these, or I got a set budget for this and all that. I ain't 3 pairs of shoes when I want, but I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And so, like you said, easy. So it sounds like the summation of what's being spoken here is have a plan that will allow you to, or will allow you to leverage what you have and to propel you longevity when it comes to your financial success. Have a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you can manifest the dream with 2 good pairs of sneakers, 1 clean car. You know what I'm saying? 1 piece of nice jewelry, right? And you can manifest the dream. That's what people are trying to do. They're trying to look the part for the interview, basically. And it's like, how many interviews do you need to go on with a new set of clothes? You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people have this, I'm never going to wear the same thing twice. And it's like, who gave us that is the level of success? Like, I think about that as depressing. Like, I think about, man, you really like that clothes so much and you're never going to get to wear it again. Like, that's kind of mentally difficult. Like, man, I like this shirt. I hope I wear it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do have some that I retire, but I'm like, for the most part, did you ever do that? You buy something, you go, this is a terrible purchase, and you're giving it away as soon as you bought it.
You're giving it away.
It's like, you're like, man, this is a moment of weakness when I made this purchase, right? And the more we think about it, the more most of those purchases are a purchase of weakness, Tends to be the ones I got for free that I like the most.
Yeah, bro. That's the truth,
Make you
man.
feel better. You're like, I got this. I got this because I work there.
Exactly. And those be the ones that you end up wearing the most, man. It's the free shirts I like from employees for gifts and stuff like that, man. I find myself with those things and none. And you have those occasions where you might step
and you're rocking them and they're comfortable.
Yeah, man. That's really the truth, man. That's really the truth, bro. And so y'all,
Fly, I got a bus on.
Tell people.
I got to take care of the baby, man. I got a bus on out. We got to
take care of the baby, man. That's a must.
Yeah, we out of here. So we wrapping up a little bit early, folks, but thanks for hanging with us. And we're going to keep you up to date, and we shall see you next week. And don't forget, check out Introverse Sundays, 6:30 with Bernard and I. We rock and talking about introverts who are creative. All right, peace. Jay Cruz.
Peace.
Henry's going, where'd Jay Cruz go? He was on the phone, Henry. He wasn't on the show. He wants to know why Jay Cruz isn't on the show. We're going to have to ask him. We're going to have to call him up and give him a name. Jay Cruz, you're being summoned.
Yes.
All right.
Peace.
All right, peace, y'all.
We getting ready to blow. We getting ready to blow. We getting ready to, so ready to, oh so ready to.
I'ma go get it.
We getting ready to.
I'ma go get it.
We getting ready to.
I'ma go get it.
We getting ready to, so ready to, oh so ready to.
We ready for jump ball, center court now, standing tall now, hold the fort down. This is showtime, more than sports now, more than crunch time. We rush like fourth down.
I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. We been on that paper chasing chasing all that fashion. We been on that paper chasing what you ration.
Better the grind now. We ready for prime time. Ready for shine now. We ready to get smile. On the rise, all eyes up on us now. Blast off spaceships till the touchdown.
Energy level on high, put that trouble on fire. Double it down, I'ma spit it around. Click, clack, boom, we the best in town. Energy level on high, put that trouble on fire. Double it down, I'ma spit it around. Click, clack, boom, we the best in town. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point